With the economic development in first 10 years of 21st century, more and more vehicles were driven along the road of Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Traffic jam became a daily problem for every citizen must to face. The location of Steung Meanchey Interchange was an area that suffered particular serious traffic jam frequently at that time. It was not only the intersection of two important arterial roads, Road 271 and Road 217, but also an unavoidable spot on the way between airport and downtown. The congestion of numerous traffic streams created high pressure to the traffic condition of this intersection. The best way to resolve two-dimensional congestion is to evacuate the traffic streams by three-dimensional means. In early 2012, Sino-Pacific Construction Consultancy (SPCC) was entrusted by Overseas Cambodian Investment Corporation (OCIC) again for both design and construction of Steung Meanchey Interchange. Steung Meanchey Interchange is the first large-scale construction project of comprehensive three-dimensional transportation in Phnom Penh. It includes one section of 87.6 meters long main viaduct, three sections of viaducts with a length of 112.5 meters, 137 meters, and 252 meters respectively, and one underpass with the length of 155.9 meters. Furthermore, one 61 meters long existing bridge must be widened and two bridges with the length of 80 meters and 20 meters must be built. At that time, the complexity of this project was not only a challenge but also a milestone for Cambodia. At the beginning of this construction, some existing buildings and underground pipelines within the scope of construction must be demolished and relocated. In order to reduce the influence to nearby buildings, existing open space was sufficiently utilized to prevent any unnecessary demolition. This traffic node was surrounded by the districts of Tulkork, Chamkarman, Meanchey, and Sen Sok. Any relocation of underground pipelines in this area must be approved by the authority of all four districts. In addition to the complexity of existing underground pipelines, it made the promotion of this construction more difficult. The project team not only must follow the schedule provided by local government to relocate the underground pipeline facility, but also must ensure not to interrupt related water supply too much time. With perfect plan proposed by the project team and full assistance provided by local government, this part of work was finally completed and met the requirements requested by all parties. It is very important to keep the function of normal traffic for the construction in a heavy traffic area. Some countermeasures was proposed by the project team as follows. At first, any work with shorter construction period, less difficulty, or such as the ramp that hardly being passed by large-scale vehicle would be constructed first. Once above work was completed and handed over for use, it might share the traffic burden and reduce the traffic pressure from the main road. Besides, some beam components of the bridges and such as the embedding of pre-stress might be fabricated in factory in advance, then be transported to the site for installation. Thus it could be completed more quickly and accurately. At last, night construction was sufficiently utilized. For example, part of piling work was proceeded at night, in order to reduce the influence to the traffic as much as possible. Based on the attentiveness of the project team, the traffic function of this area was properly maintained during whole period of this construction. The construction was proceeded as planned intensively. During the construction of board piles, one bar hole met a problem. According to the design of this board pile, the bottom elevation of pile is -19 meters and the top elevation of pile is +1 meter. The bottom elevation of steel casing is minus 7.5 meters, the top elevation of steel casing is plus 5.2 meters, the diameter of steel casing is 1.06 meters. The top of steel casing is 0.5 meters above the ground and 1.5 meters above the water of nearby river. One day in the morning, the piling work was started at 7 o'clock, while the drilling depth being down to minus 14 meters. The situation of gushing water accompanied with shifting sand was found. It was preliminarily determined that certain underground pressurized water with high water had existed. Under this special condition, the project team lowered the bottom elevation of steel casing 1.5 meters to 2 meters. In order to fully control the cause of collapse, the project team decided to keep observing before taking further correct action. Till 7:30 the next morning, the elevation of collapse rose up to minus 4.8 meters. After one-day observation, the project team decided to pour the concrete into the borehole in order to increase the stability of borehole. Once the setting strength of concrete reached the requirement, the piling work was started again. In order to prevent the collapse and shifting sand of borehole caused by underground pressurized water, the project team carried out targeted prevention as follows. First, kept the water elevation inside the steel casing always more than 2 meters above the waterhead of pressurized water. Second, arranged the connection between the preceding work and the following work in order to reduce the interval of different works. Both the height and the shape for each pier of Meanchey Interchange is different. The requirement for the assembling of formwork was very critical at that time. Inside the enclosed formwork was dense reinforcement. In order to prevent the segregation of aggregation, the workers must squeeze themselves into narrow gaps among the reinforcement to compact the concrete whenever the concrete was poured. It was very hard. There is one underpass in the design scheme of Meanchey Interchange. It is the first underpass equipped with the facility of mechanical drainage in Phnom Penh. The method of open cut and backfill was adopted. During the construction, some sheet piles was blocked by underground unknown hard layer. Because of the insufficient space of site, it was impossible to utilize larger equipment for this part of work at that time. The work thus was paused. The project team finally decided to improve the ground by themselves. At the beginning, it was supposed as a whimsical idea. After numerous trials over and over again, the purpose of ground improvement was completed on schedule without any additional cost. For the construction of viaduct, the method of pre-stressed cast-in situ box girder was adopted. The construction scope covered nearby river and underpass. With many curves and big amplitude, more than 80% of the horizontal profile of the viaduct is curved, with different curvature in each part of the horizontal profile. It was a new challenge to the technique level of related workers. The project team thus utilized 4 marble steel mold. Secondary processing was proceeded based on the result of construction layout on site. With cautious attitude, the project team completed each section of viaduct step by step to reach a smooth curve. The site of this project near the junction of several foul sewers. At that time, all domestic sewage from surrounding neighborhoods was discharged into these sewers. Accumulated over a long period of time, it became smelly and dirty. All kinds of domestic garbage was floated above the sewers. The year-round high temperature in Cambodia promoted the volatilization of stink. During almost 2 years, all workers worked very hard under such a harsh environment. They were a group of unsung heroes to promote the construction of this city. The structure of Meanchey Interchange is complex and diverse. It was composed of the bridge of precast girder, the bridge of cast-in cedar box girder, high slope retaining wall, etc. Each work was properly arranged to be applied in sequence. The project team did not receive any complaint during the whole period of construction. It is the first large-scale interchange for Phnom Penh. Highly valued by the government, many governors visited the site during the construction. A big celebration was held on the date that it was opened to traffic. In the history of Cambodian traffic construction, Steung Meanchey Interchange possesses epoch-making significance. Satisfying all kinds of expected requirements, it was finally completed smoothly. For this outstanding achievement, Cambodian government awarded 3 honor medals to the General Director, the Deputy General Director, and the Project Manager of the constructor of this project respectively. Nowadays, many vehicles are circling up to Steung Meanchey Interchange every day. Urban construction creates comfort and convenience to the people. The intersection that used to take most drivers more than half an hour to pass now becomes an interchange that only takes most drivers less than a minute to cross. Phnom Penh is consistently making progress. Cana Sino Construction Corporation was officially established during the construction of Steung Meanchey Interchange. This project thus became the nominal, entrepreneurial work of Cana Sino Construction Corporation.